Episode 43, Zodiac Killer Case. Their first date. Okay, we're going to start at San Francisco Airport. So if you look at the bottom center of the screen, you can see SF Airport. And as we head north up through Oakland and continue on the I-80, and then we will go across the San Pablo Bay and into Vallejo, and to your right, east, is Valencia. Okay, then we have a street map of Vallejo, and here's Interstate 80 going through the center of Vallejo with a population of about 70,000 at the time. And here I have labeled a lot of the locations: Mare Island, Vallejo High School, Tennessee Street, Springs Road, Hogan High School, Lake Herman Road, and Blue Rock Springs Golf Course. And the next map that we are going to see is going to shift and only show the east side of Vallejo. So to the left, off screen, is I-80 or Old Highway 40. And you can see here David Faraday's home, where he lived at 1930 Sereno Drive. And here's a top view of the house and a front view of the house. And believe it or not, that man has been on that ladder cutting those branches for 50 years. He has not moved. At the bottom of the screen is the location of Betty Lou Jensen's house. And here's a top view of the house. And then the front view. Okay, now you can see Castlewood Park. Just to the left is Hogan High School, where Betty went to school. Okay, here's a top view of Hogan High School, and I wanted to show its location relative to Betty Jensen's home. And so you can see how close it is, and there's a top view of her house. And then to the right, east, is the location of the crime scene on Lake Herman Road. It's off the screen a short distance. It was Friday night, Christmas break, 2 weeks of holiday from school. David arrived at Betty Lou Jensen's home about 8 p.m. He was in his mother's two-tone brown and beige 1961 AMC Rambler. He had on his class ring, and he had on his Timex wristwatch. Betty Lou had on a purple mini dress with a white fur coat. She told her father that she would be back by 11 p.m. They first stopped off at a friend's, Sharon's house, before going to the concert. They went to a Christmas concert at Hogan High School that started at 8:30 and ended about 10 p.m. that night. Then different accounts have David and Betty going to Mr. Ed's drive-in either before or after the concert. Nevertheless, shortly thereafter, they drove out to Lake Herman Road and parked on the south side of the roadway at about 10:15 p.m. Then, at about 11:15, some person came up with a gun and shot David Faraday, and then shot Betty Lou Jensen as she ran away multiple times. At 11:52 p.m., the call comes into the Solano County Sheriff's Office. Responding officers are Butterbach and Waterman. Lake Herman Road is their jurisdiction. When they arrive, the Valencia police show them the scene. They lift their wool blanket off the female victim. The victim is Betty Lou Jensen, 16 years old. She is dead, shot 5 times in the right of the back, apparently while fleeing the assailant. Blood splattered her path from where she lay to the side of the car where the boy, David Faraday, 17, had been found. She must have been next to Faraday when he was shot and then ran away toward the road. David Faraday had been removed. He was still alive, breathing faintly, despite a gunshot wound to the head. A chalk outline marks the area where his body was. The bodies of the couple were discovered by a woman motorist on her way home. The girl had staggered about 11 feet from the car before she fell. Faraday's body was discovered alongside the vehicle. Deputies said there was no sign of robbery or molestation of the victims. A bullet hole in the back window of the vehicle brought speculation that a shot may have been fired to force the car off the road. The fact that the car heater was running meant the victims were shot just after the car stopped, authorities said. 4 empty shell casings from a .22 caliber weapon were found near the car. The young couple was en route home from a concert at Hogan High School and may have driven out to the deserted country road to Neck, police said. They speculated the car may have been followed. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved, and on the next episode we're going to get into the details of the crime and the sheriff's investigation into more specific things that took place. One point that I'd like to mention is, you can see when I read the newspaper article, it differs from what the police investigation found out. And this happens often. You get multiple different accounts of what happened. So when you watch my show, I tried to do my best to give you the correct information. But viewers will see something and say, oh, it said this, especially like on the last case. It said this. Well, they were wrong. It wasn't correct, and so I corrected it. So I try to look at each different account and come up with the best explanation of what happened.